Hi, Dane. How are you?
Good, Beck. How are you?
Sorry to interrupt this fabulous performance, but it sounds fabulous. Is this Mozart?
It is, yes. It's the Act 2 aria for the Countess, where she laments her lost love in the Marriage of Figaro.
Now, I'm so intrigued by Mozart. Like, he died young. He was incredibly prolific in the work he created. What insights do you have into the man? What can you tell me about him and his work?
I think he packed a hell of a lot into his 31 odd years of life. He started really young, and I think he totally revolutionised the art form of opera. Because before Mozart, opera was a series of arias, of songs where the singer would extol their feelings, love, or hatred, or anger, or despair, and then all the action would happen in these recitatives where we would just put down a chord and ya ba 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 bee ya ba ba bee ba or whatever, and they would do it's quite kind of static without much melody or musical line. What Mozart did was take all this action and chuck it into these big ensembles for duets, trios, quartets, quintets, sextets, whole finales, where all of a sudden the action was happening in the music, and the tension never lets up really.
So it must have blown audiences' minds when they first sort of saw his work.
I think so, yeah. I mean, this guy totally revolutionised the form, and then his partnership with his librettist, the guy who wrote the words, Lorenzo da Ponte, also was a watershed moment in operatic history. Da Ponte was also an interesting bloke. Yes. This was their first collaboration, the Marriage of Figaro, and Da Ponte was a good friend of Casanova, for example. He was a bit of a playboy. He travelled the world. He spent a lot of time in New York. This was all back in the late 19th century. Yeah. So the two of them got on like a house on fire, creatively at least, and they took this story of Figaro's marriage that was banned from Vienna at the time because it was really subversive. It had a lot of anti-establishment, anti-aristocratic views, pro the common man. That was banned as the sort of the shadow of the French Revolution was encroaching on Vienna. But Da Ponte and Mozart got around it and put this Marriage of Figaro on.
They sound outrageous, like my kind of guys, like super rock stars, but a little bit misbehaving.
They would have been absolute dudes. So they would be great to have a dinner party. Yeah. Some really good wine, some champagne, some beer, cider, some hard liquor after the meal, have a cigar.
I love how you just mentioned every kind of alcohol possible.
Well, yeah, I think Mozart would have liked that too.
Yeah, well, wish we could go back in time. I did ask Patrick earlier if he's ever had a dream with Mozart in it, so maybe we're all going to start conjuring Mozart up in our dreams.
I think so.
Now, this work, as you said, was written in the 1700s. It was on the cusp of the French Revolution. How do you contemporise a work like this and make it relevant to a 2021 audience?
Well, if you think about the sentiment that was arising in the lead up to the French Revolution, there was this discontent for the status quo, how many people, a few people own a lot of the wealth, a lot of the property, and most people had very little. And it is a pretty clear parallel to today's society where the 1% own vast swathes of land, a lot of property. You know, young people trying to get on the property market in Australia today, for example, and it's not just from eating too much avocado on toast.
Yeah, exactly.
So that world of Mozart's Figaro is so relevant today, and it's essentially about servants, and especially one particular woman servant. Getting one over the aristocrats, getting one over the creepy old count, the lecherous count.
Yes, yeah. So it's as much about sort of feminist politics as it is about class and class inequality in a way.
Yeah, it's about both in equal measure, and it's really clear from the music that Mozart was both a feminist and a class warrior.
Oh my God, I'm so in love with him. And so you're in the middle, like you are like the centrifugal force that generates the action and the music. What do you love the most about your role being a conductor? Like, talk us through what it feels like.
Well, it's funny that even the word conductor, it occupies a really unique place because the English word for what we do, waving your arms around and creating this music from the players, from the singers, uniting everything. The conductor's quite a unique word in the English language because, in the Romance languages, direttore in Italian, direttore in Spanish, chef d'orchestra in French, 主挥家 in Chinese. It's all about being in command, being the boss, being the director. But the English word lets us into this picture of the person standing up the front, conducting energy.
Yes.
And that's what
Forces. Yeah.
it's taking the energy from these dots on the page that Mozart wrote,
And you're conducting that as well.
interpreting what they mean, how loud is loud, how soft is soft, which words are important, which parts should come out, where we should linger a bit, and then feeling the energy from the audience. And that's something that's really important. Conducting it to the stage, conducting it back to the audience.
It's like a superpower. It's like a shaman.
Well, it feels a little bit like Harry Potter. Yeah.
You've even got a wand.
Yes. Yeah. To show through physical gesture,
Yeah.
sound, to shape sound. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous of you now too. How fantastic. Now, this work also explores love, like love, betrayal, jealousy, lust, passion. Like, are you drawing on your own life experiences when it comes to conducting this, Dane?
I think so. I started off conducting pretty young, and people used to say, "Well, you got to have your heart broken. You've got to lose everything." And I used to think, "Well, why? Why do we have to suffer for our art?" And it's not a prerequisite, but certainly it does help to have had life experiences, to have seen smarmy people like the Count, to have seen really feisty warriors like Susanna, and to be able to bring that to life in a really meaningful and truthful way.
Yeah. And your true love.
That's right. My true love, my wife, Sophia, is playing this feisty maid, Susanna.
Oh my God, that is so romantic. How fantastic. So that must bring a bit of extra passion to the play.
That's right. It's actually the first time we've really worked together with her as a leading lady and me as the conductor. It's great to be able to collaborate and to see each other in a different light, a professional and artistic light, as well as a domestic and a familial light, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, that's totally sexy, Dane. And thank you so much for the interview. I can't wait to see and feel and watch you conduct the force that is Mozart. And we're really looking forward to it. So I know you have to get back to rehearsal, so thank you.
Thanks, Beck. I'm looking forward to it.